I will focus. Okay.
Hi, and welcome to another segment of the Art of Black Psychology. I'm your host, Yvonne Monique Livingston, and I'm here with the lovely Jasmine Pena. We're going to finish our conversation on her medical history and her experience in that community. Jasmine, take it away.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Pena, and today I just want to discuss um, transverse myelitis. I what it's what it's like on good days and what it's like on bad days.
And just to remind everyone, explain what transverse myelitis is.
The transverse myelitis, it's a disease that's that's brought into the body by a virus, and it does affect and attack the spinal cord. Um, and the virus that I had that brought transverse myelitis into my body was COVID.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said that the transverse myelitis is brought into the body by a virus, and the virus that I had was COVID,
COVID-19?
COVID 19.
Okay.
So now I have transverse myelitis.
Okay.
Um, I don't think we've ever done a video with me at this capacity with transverse myelitis. I don't think we've ever done a video to where not only does it just affect me from the waist down, it does affect me from my head down to my toe. So
Yeah.
today is a struggle day,
Mm-hmm.
and I I do want to talk about and discuss the treatments as well,
Mm-hmm.
and my victories and my tribulations. You know, people say trials and tribulations, but I will say victories and tribulations.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, this is Monkey.
A cat named Monkey. How cute.
Yes. I I want I do want to start off by saying that I do. My days have been wonderful. Um, on on third, May 3rd or 4th, I did have a scheduled procedure at North Shore by Dr. David Dickerson in um, in Glenview, Skokie. Um, no, it's in Glenview, Illinois, and And the procedure that I received was what they called a nerve block. And the reason why I had to receive a nerve block was because my central nervous system is affected by transverse myelitis, of course, because it's it affects my spine, my spinal cord. So although I do have, those moments I can't move from the waist down, it does affect me complete body at times. And Dr. David Dickerson,
Mhm.
one wonderful doctor, he's a pain doctor, and he treats conditions like I have. I don't just have transverse myelitis. I also have complex regional pain syndrome, which is what they call CRPS.
Mhm.
And he treats rare, debilitating diseases like that.
Mhm.
He takes on the challenge. And I didn't know I didn't know what to expect. Now, I've had nerve blocks before. I've had nerve blocks in my spine.
Mhm.
And when you have a very sensitive spine, like I do, I I'm highly affected anytime they would go into my spine.
Mhm.
Um, Needle point, needle injection, injecting um, anything invasive
Mhm.
that the spine would think or the body would react the way it is. It is. It doesn't matter how small the needle is. It doesn't matter how short of moment it is. Anytime they go into your spine, you are highly affected.
Mhm. Right.
And when Dr. Dickerson explained to me that he wouldn't have to go into my spine, but the injection would go into my neck. And was I nervous? Absolutely. But having constant pain happening in my body, I didn't, you really don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
And I was okay with the procedure. And I'm going to say gratefully so, because having that nerve block, it changed it changed everything for me. Hope, I can just start there at hope. That's what it gave me. Although I was extremely nervous about the procedure, I went in with empty mind. I didn't fill my head with what type of procedure or what they do or anything like that. And it's not that I didn't want to be informed or educated on it. I didn't want to reject it. I didn't want to have something done to me and my mind as well as my body would follow, rejecting whatever it is they're trying to help me with.
So you did some research too on the procedure and what it would
I
do?
did the I did the research on the procedure back in February.
Mm-hmm.
It was the last time I seen my doctors to schedule the procedure. It was and it was scheduled then, and I read about it. They were very detailed into the benefit of the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know I there are things I would just like to know myself. I understand the medical standpoint, but when you're giving and not the one receiving, you want to have a better ideal. And I'm not saying that, oh, they sold me on it or that that was the whole pitch. I think it was the very beginning of me being able to change my mentality about my capabilities with my new disability, honestly.
Yeah, because you can't really fill your mind with, doctors experimenting on you,
Mhm.
because of, your experiences thus far. I remember I had a situation with my doctor and they didn't know what was wrong with me. And he admitted that he didn't know what was wrong. And that's the
Yeah,
beginning of a great relationship, I think. Um, when doctors can acknowledge that they don't have all of the answers, and it's okay if they say that, because they're not gods. Um, and I like that you did your own research. You looked into the events yourself, um, and didn't fill your mind with, the negative things that, can happen, when you're
yes,
having something done like that.
yes,
So I'm glad that you advocated for yourself.
yes. Thank you.
Hmm.
It's it's not easy. It it's definitely a lot of work when you have a medical condition. People don't think that once you're diagnosed and there's a plan, like, oh, that's it. You go about your day. Oh no.
You have to actively participate in your own health and
Yes, you do.
your well-being, physically
Yes.
and mentally, right?
Yes. And that part is so important because being in constant pain is physically and mentally draining.
Hmm.
And I just honestly had to admit to myself, I get overwhelmed by refilling my prescriptions. It brings on an anxiety of rejection.
Hmm.
It I do order, I mean not order, but the refills are done when they're needed. But when it's time to pick them up, that part does take a while because it's excessive with the amount of medication I have to take monthly, daily. You looking at what you have to do and take just to control your body enough to function. It's draining.
I want you to, because we have sidebar conversations, other than what we do here, and it's recorded. But I also want you to talk about how you get treated when you go pick up your medication, or you send someone else in to get it from Walgreens,
Well,
is it?
yeah. And my past experiences with them is dealing with my especially my payments. My pain meds have been canceled
Mhm.
because the pharmacists feel that because they've never seen me prescribe something before, they will cancel my
About consulting you first?
without consulting me or my doctors. And I would be advised by my medical team, which is the doctors, nurse practitioners that I have to get approval from for my pain medication. It goes directly from my doctor's office to Walgreens. I never have a paper script for the medications that I take.
Neither do
And
I.
yet,
That's how they do it now. They send it directly to
yeah,
the pharmacy. So there is no discrepancy about you,
exactly.
um, falsifying a prescription,
Eh, Yeah,
right? They stopped that process.
that's
So yeah.
yeah. And I I get treated like it's treated like it's a paper. Like I brought it in and they don't believe it.
How does that make you
It
feel?
doesn't it it's it's overwhelming and it's frustrating and you just you have one more thing to fight and it's hard to have to explain every month. It's not every 2 months. I go through this every month for my pain medications, even now. If my doctors are trying to help me, I get pushback from Walgreens. And I don't understand why. But all I can say
Have you gotten a
is
pharmacist's name?
they they're not specific.
Okay.
And I'm grateful that you said that because it's leading into what I was going to say next is that I'm grateful because it's documented in their system
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that they cancel my medication without identification. And I take and make note of that.
Good.
And I can wait. I not saying that I willingly wait, but even after my pain
Mm-hmm.
meds are sent,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it could take a week to 2 weeks to get my pain meds.
So at that point, you go without your pain meds because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
refuse to fill your
Yeah.
prescriptions, even though they come
Yeah,
directly from the doctor.
yeah. Yeah, they
That's
do that
insane.
to me.
Yeah, that's
And
insane.
I and then here's the other part. A lot of pain medications, especially very strong ones, they don't keep. So I know that these are things that I have to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go into details about what I mean when I say that canceling the prescription. That means that they don't order a payment because they don't store it inside of the store because, you know, bad habits of people. So Walgreens won't order my payments when they receive the script. And they can and they'll sit on it for days. And even if I feel like, you want to give the benefit of the doubt every month. As you say, I'm not going to deal with this because they understand. No, they don't. And right? You can't get mad, you can't yell, you can't do all of that for many different reasons. And then being a Black woman, I don't need to be labeled.
What would they label you?
I'm dependent on pain medication or that.
Because if they don't fill your prescription for your medicine, how do you deal with your pain?
Honestly,
Mhm.
I smoke marijuana. I I have to because if I didn't, especially before the injection that I just received this month, I would not be able to get out of bed. I wouldn't be able to function because that's how strong my pain is. I can't think. You can't, besides getting up when I can,
Mhm.
and that's bedside commode on a forceful day. And a bedside commode, for those that don't know, is a toilet that you can have on the side of your bed because you can't walk to your bathroom, even if your bathroom is in your master bedroom.
Right.
And that's just a couple of steps away.
Mhm.
And I can't do that sometimes. So
Okay.
in those days, I don't have my medication. Or even if I do, it does, even when I do have it, it does take time
Mhm.
for the medicine.
Mhm.
I hate it. I went waiting for it because it ramps up your intolerance
Okay.
or your tolerance to it. So
Mhm.
whatever side effect that you may have, whether it's nausea or itching, because it releases the histamines in your body. This is the adverse reactions when you're taking pain meds. You have to you have to add additional medications. So if my pain med because I haven't had it
Mhm.
and I start to take it again, these are not issues that I have when I'm not taking it. You know, so I'm not at home itching and throwing up when I'm not taking it. When I do eventually get my prescription, my body reacts to it in a way to where, oh, it's brand new. It's brand new. So um, I deal with,
So it's just so it seems to me that it's an interruption in your medication and how, doctors want you to take your medication. They prescribe it a certain way so that you can get the most relief from
yes.
how they do it. And when
Mhm.
Walgreens does not fill your prescriptions in a timely manner, it gets interrupted. And then your body has to go through this process all over again of getting
Readjusting. Yep.
acclimated to the
Yes.
medicine and what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
So they're actually causing you some pain and suffering, huh?
Yeah. And it causes me to have to take my Benadryl
Mhm.
before I have to take the Benadryl before I even take the pain med because
Mhm.
I'll itch. I'll itch and it's really excessively. Um, so it adds on additional drowsiness. So
Mhm.
you can't function. You don't have a life free from some form of medication,
Right.
you know?
Mhm. So transverse myelitis is what we started off talking about, which is a disease
Yes,
that stems from a virus, and the virus was
yeah,
COVID-19
yeah,
that brought this new disease upon you because then you were already experiencing um, some health issues prior to transverse myelitis. So this is just
correct,
an added effect. Um, and then the
correct.
comfort of this new disease, you don't get any. And then the relief that you do get from the medication, Walgreens um, is a I'm trying to look for a fancy word, but they antagonize the situation,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's not right. Given everything that you experience, and you go to the same Walgreens that's by your house, which is interesting. Um, and again, it's a sidebar conversation that I have with you, on a regular basis. But
yeah,
just to bring this out, that
yeah,
it's not that you go to a different Walgreens every time; it's the
exactly.
same one. And
Yeah,
it's like when
yeah,
you go
I'm
into the system, they should know, right? Because when I went
identifying.
to pick up your medication, they gave me a hard time. And I'm like, this is not for
Yeah,
me. Um, so it's interesting, that you're putting all of this together and you're processing it. And I saw you crying earlier, and those tears represent, some pain. It
yeah,
represents a struggle. It represents, you're constantly having to fight, and it should not be that way because you have doctors on your side. They're saying now, and you agree because you're doing your research, all of the different things that you want to try for you to the benefit of you. And then you
yeah,
still have people antagonizing that situation. I can't imagine, the mental pain and the physical pain you go through, when you don't get what's needed, for you to have a some semblance of normal given, your condition.
yeah. I it's and this is the part where I say that it's not just overwhelming
Mhm.
by Walgreens delaying my medication, it's overwhelming to just look at that it's time for me to take my medicine again.
Mhm.
It's time for me to do this refill.
Mhm.
I have a medication, nerve medication I have to take in the container that I have to take it. Can you toss me? I just want to give an example and show why I'm overwhelmed.
Oh, gabapentin.
Would
That's
you?
something my doctors wanted me to take for my condition.
It's and it's not that it's just gabapentin.
Hmm.
It's it's 500 pills in this bottle.
You know what? You know what I was thinking too as you were talking. Because the job of a pharmacist too is to make sure you're not over medicated. Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of get their stance on not wanting you to take this medicine. Um, but then that's a conversation between the pharmacist and the doctor and you, right? It's a partnership. So everybody should
Yeah.
be coming to the table to have a discussion about the amount of medication you're taking, whether or not it's harmful for your body and the side effects. That's the conversation. But has it happened to you? Have all of you sat down in a room to discuss the amount of medication you're taking?
And oh, absolutely not. But not with a pharmacist.
Hmm.
But this is what I will say.
Okay.
Because I have such open conversations. Like, yeah, I've been treated, and it's odd though that I've been treated the way that I have with other doctors in the past, and especially in the Meta health care system. It's like they it's like it's disregarding sometimes.
Hmm.
But my 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 personal doctors,
Hmm.
like my primary care physician,
Hmm.
neurologist, pain doctor. These are doctors that, and this is North Shore when I say neurology,
Okay.
and this is North Shore when I say pain doctor. I definitely want to be very specific because there is a difference between doctors, the level of care, same field, different effects. And that's strange.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Um, it's a it's another day. It's not a different topic. It's just another day.
Hmm.
But there are my doctors that um that I do get blood work done. My my liver and kidneys is always checked because of, like you say, the level of medication I take. And that part is so important to me. These are things that I openly discuss. So I'm not a person that just speak me medication. That's all I need is a script. No, I want to know what you're prescribing to affect my body. I have to know. And it's
Yeah, these are more times.
because
Go ahead. Go
because
ahead.
medications
Mm-hmm.
can have very, very bad side effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I know because I was on I was on a fentanyl patch.
Oh, wow.
So I've I've been very cautious because my life was miserable
Mm-hmm.
when I was on fentanyl. But what I mean by same field of doctors, different effect. There were no tears when I spoke of North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
What the neurologists and doctors have talked about now is different hospitals and different fields. Not different fields, but different hospitals, same field. And I was treated like I was doing these things to myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was the side effect of fentanyl that was causing me to have these seizures.
Right. I remember those.
I was constantly hospitalized.
You
And
were.
I was even told that I heard a doctor say, "Oh, she isn't having seizures. This this is something happened to her." Yeah, something was happening to me, and I don't doubt my upbringing. I've never denied those things. I've always had therapy. That's what some doctors don't understand. I've never I've never been in a safe space to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Not not to just anyone, but to my primary care physician. He knew, you know, but they didn't want to identify the dangers of fentanyl. They made me they didn't just make me feel like I honestly thought I was going crazy, but they kept adding medications to help control these episodes. I was on diazepam and lorazepam. These are medications that that calms you and calms the your your brain activity.
I want you to um
And
because I kind of
before
Okay, go ahead.
Be, before the and when people, I just want to be specific. I was not just taking lorazepam and diazepam pill form. Diazepam, I also had to have it in insertion form. So in the event of me having these seizures because of this medication that's constantly going into my body from this patch on my arm, if my wife couldn't get one of those pills in my mouth, she would have to insert anally to help my body. If I was having seizures because of trauma, excuse my language, why the fuck am I not having seizures now?
Beep.
Because these last 2 years of my life, especially one last year of COVID in my life, I should be having a seizure every day, especially today.
How are you feeling today?
Today, when the second time I woke up, I my muscles were feeling, I was feeling a little heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by heavy is that's what they call muscle weakness. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't feeling muscle soreness or pain at this point. So I was okay. My oldest daughter needed my granddaughter to be dropped off this morning because she has her own business and she needed to do hair this morning
Mm-hmm.
during the time she needed to be at school. My youngest daughter was here with me, and I said, I want to be with her when, taking her to school. I said, but drive. And she was on board. And she drove there, and we took my granddaughter to school. We got back, and when I laid down, and I did eventually go back to sleep around a little after 10, maybe almost close to 11 o'clock. I woke up at about 3:30, and I felt and I feel pressure. In my spine, and I was used to being able to just get up, sit up, and go to the bathroom. When I sat up, I couldn't. I tried to sit up, and I put my legs out of bed, and I tried to walk or move or take steps, and still trying to move.
Is that from the transverse myelitis?
Yes,
Okay.
my
On top of
muscles,
what you already have.
yeah, and my muscles, they Sometimes they don't function. That's the other side of transverse myelitis. It doesn't just affect your central nervous system because it is your spine. Sometimes I can't move my legs, toes, feet, or I can't connect. Can't connect brain to body. Can't tell my body, hey, let's walk, let's do this. Um, you won't move, you won't function normally. And today, after I woke up and I tried to move, I felt not just way down from the waist down, way down from my neck down. That's why you see the shaking because it's weakness. So sometimes I can't function or move smoothly as you normally would. So this isn't, you know, I don't need a cigarette break. I don't want anyone. I just, it's hard, you know. But I had to crawl. I want those are I don't have to bedside commode, right? When you're functioning and you're walking, because when I told you I woke up for the second time today, I did not mention my struggles of getting out of bed. That's what my day can be like with transverse myelitis. There, my days in my body is my body is limited sometimes to what it can do. So it'll tap out. It can't do anything else. I'm I'm 43 years old.
Right. Pause for a second for me, please.
Mhm. I I struggled so bad, and that's how we're doing this video
Mhm.
today because I didn't want to go into a hole.
You didn't want to go into a
Being
hole?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
mentally,
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
into
Mm-hmm.
a mental hole
Mm-hmm.
because I was, to function. The
Right.
injection allowed me to function. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like running into a wall, I guess, or being stopped right in your tracks. Like you can't do nothing else.
Right.
And I'm helping and taking care of my wife who had a rotator cuff surgery, who's down one arm and her functioning arm at that. Her right is right-handed. So,
Those
you
two people
know,
with disabilities helping each other.
two people with disabilities helping each other. And she she was going to get us something to eat after we didn't have to get our granddaughter from school, but I broke down and she heard it and came back came back home. And helped me sit where I'm sitting now, which is on our chase. And that's just where I've been, and not able to move or function. And I didn't want to stay in that place mentally, even if I have to sit in a place physically.
Why you called me today and we
Yeah,
started this discussion so that you can
absolutely.
process how you were feeling.
Yeah,
So thank you so much for sharing. And we have
yeah.
other videos that you can watch to get caught up to where Jazzy is right now. I call her Jazzy. I'm sorry, she's Jasmine. um, just to catch up to, you know, her experiences and the journey that she's been on. We've been chronicling this for a while now. I think we got like 7 or 8 videos that discuss your journey. And as you continue to process um, this disease that you're dealing with, not one, but two, right? Transverse
Yeah,
myelitis and then CRPS.
correct.
Um, so this is very challenging to, you know, for you to be in this body at this moment and take care of yourself, and for you to have a supportive medical team to help you process what's happening to you so that you can potentially live a great life, even though you deal with these difficult situations. And I do say that you have done a very good job thus far. Most people couldn't, you know, walk a mile in your condition. So I'm very proud of you and what you're trying to do for yourself, researching, advocating, and then having some tough discussions with your doctors
Yeah.
and standing up for yourself when it comes to Walgreens being that you've gone to the same pharmacy to get your prescriptions filled. Um, it's
Oh,
it
yeah.
must be really frustrating to have to go through that monthly. So I'm glad you also spoke about that and, you know, was able to give some details.
I just want to say for 5 years now. Okay, go ahead.
5 years, wow. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's that's some extenuating circumstances that need to be looked into.
yeah.
I'm just saying. So join us
I've been
next
I've
time.
been going. Yeah,
Yeah. So join us next time
absolutely.
as she continues to talk about this journey and give us great details on what's happening to her so that we can also understand how to protect ourselves and use the information that she's given to empower us. Thank you so much for watching The Art of Black Psychology. Jasmine, do you have any parting words for our audience?
Don't give up and keep fighting. It's
That's
worth
true
it.
perspective,
Honestly,
though. Yeah,
it really is. It's worth it.
it really is. It's lucrative too, I believe. So
Yeah.
thank you all so much for watching and see you next time.
Yeah.